Hey, everybody, welcome to Takeoff with John Clark, and let's bring in a very special guest to talk about the Birds' incredible season. Hall of Famer and one of the greatest safeties of all time, Brian Dawkins. Brian, great to see you, and we're going to talk with you about your It Takes Two campaign presented by Boehringer and Lilly, raising awareness and getting tested for kidney disease. But B-Doc, I want to first ask you about this Eagles team because they are 12-2. And there's only three other teams in Eagles history that started 12-2. The other three went to the Super Bowl. You were a part of the one in 2004. What kind of vibes are you getting for this Birds team?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. This is a very important topic we're going to be talking about. Yes, the Birds are important too, but the other thing we're going to be talking about is very important. Listen, when you see where they have come from this year, in the beginning of the year, I would have told you, like you asked me, I would have told you there's going to be some struggling. I call them growing pains in the beginning of the year. It's going to happen. You have a new coordinator on offense and defense, right? There are going to be new terminologies, there's going to be new schemes and all of those things. And you don't really know who you have and what you have until game day. You can see some of it in practice, but the true test is when you get in on the field on game day. And so in the beginning of the year, the first like 4 games, people were going all over the place. And no, man, you're going to go through growing pains. Like they don't know who they have yet. The offensive and defensive coordinator don't truly know the players that they have. So then when that bye week happened, here's what I said. During this bye week, we should see a completely different, in a lot of ways, different team coming out of it if there is accountability in the building. And I believe there's accountability in the building now, offense and defensive side of the ball. That then the team that you see, especially on defense, is completely different than the one that went into the bye week, right? Now, obviously, some young players came in and were healthy, so I believe Vic felt more comfortable doing more things because of that, right? But again, growing pains. Even in the mid part of the season where we are right now, there's still going to be some growing pains, man. So listen, they're trending in the right direction if Sunday's victory after last week's communications or lack thereof, whatever you want to call it, was any indication of where this team is headed. They're heading in the right direction.
Doc, this defense since the bye week, they've been the best in the NFL. And you see these games against the Ravens and the Steelers, AFC North football, the Eagles out-physical the supposed most physical teams in the NFL. What did that defense show you now when they've done that to those teams?
Yeah, I mean, starting up front with Carter, man, he's just like he is you can call it the new freak. Like he is a freak of nature of what he can do, his abilities to be able to make guys who are in the NFL who have been seasoned for 6 or 7 years look like they're playing like back at Georgia, like back in different, practice in Georgia and games in college. And so it starts up front with his ability to draw so much attention to him because everybody has a game plan for that dude to try to not let him do things right. And that frees other guys up to have success. But I will tell you that if you look at now how Vic Fangio is calling the defense being more aggressive, challenging and triggering guys, blitzing guys, it shows you he has more confidence in the guys around him. And here's what I will also tell you, that if you look at Vic Fangio, this is what I said when he first got there, that this defense will be vastly improved in technique. It will be vastly improved in assignments, right? Because that's Vic Fangio's defenses. If you look at them for the last 5 to 10 years in other places, they have always been taking great angles, swarming to the football, right? Getting turnovers. So they're doing that now, right? So again, this is not a surprise to me, right? That they're playing at this level, and again, with the infusion of this young, hungry talent is extremely, extremely beneficial.
And Vic Fangio, to coach his defense up in training camp, showed them almost every hit you could possibly have that is right up against that fine line of being a penalty. And he probably showed a few of your hits because we don't see hitting like that anymore. What do you think of the physicality of a C.J. Gardner-Johnson and maybe the violence of a Jalen Carter? And you said the tackling and the hitting that they're doing.
Yeah, again, that is coached. So, and I don't want to talk about last year a whole lot, but one of the things is when you don't emphasize something, it won't show up on game day. And you're seeing that form tackling, swarm tackling is emphasized in practice. And that's why it shows up so readily over and over again in the game, especially open field tackling. Like that is something that is, I don't know if, again, I'm not in locker rooms anymore, so I don't know how they're teaching these things, but as a safety or a secondary player, it has to be something that you master because you're going to be in that position a whole lot of times. So if you don't know how to open field tackle, to just be able to take the right angle, get your hips down and all of those things, like that is something, once again, you need to be repped on it over and over again. And it seems to me, and obviously this is not just a big thing, this is a position coach thing, that these position coaches are doing exactly what I'm talking about, repping the heck out of that technique.
And look, since you've been gone, we always say, oh, this is the biggest hitter since B-Dawk or the best safety since B-Dawk. We see C.J. Gardner-Johnson laying some big hits, but we see the violence of Jalen Carter. So who do you most identify with on this Eagles defense?
Who do I try not, you know what, I try my best not to talk about this person reminds me of me. It kind of reminds me of you, like patting your little brother on the head. This I try not to do that to individuals. But I would just tell you that I love the pullback mentality that a couple of guys have. You spoke about Jalen Carter. I believe CJ has the same thing. I believe AJ has the same thing. You have to tell him to slow down, help him channel what he has. I love that. I love that aspect of having that type of teammate. Just knowing, though, every once in a while, they're going to get you a 15-yard penalty. You're going to go a little bit too far sometimes, and you're going to have to live with that, right? But you know, once again, if you help them, when you help them channel that energy, channel that aggression in a positive direction, oh my goodness, Sundays, like AJ had, that shows up regularly, right? And then the dominance throughout his stats won't show it because they double teaming so much Carter, but he is such a game record because you have to game plan for him, and so many bodies are thrown at him that other guys are freed up one-on-one to win their battles.
You mentioned AJ, and you mean AJ Brown. And
AJ Brown, yes, AJ Brown.
Yeah, they had it out this past week. Whatever was going on, they cleared the air, and the team came together, and then AJ Brown got the football. And you talked about accountability. They all said they had uncomfortable conversations. Do you almost get a sense that this is better for the team and that now they kind of have that edge and that chip on their shoulder?
Listen, I love the fact that they're having these type of things come about as they're still winning. I love it. I love the fact that they're just not blowing people out. Again, when you blow somebody out and you're constantly just blowing teams out, sometimes some people will just sweep things under the rug. They won't deal with specific things. I remember, I believe it was Charles Barkley I heard say that that winning is the greatest deodorant there is, right? It covers up a whole bunch of stinky stuff, right? And so when you look at winning, but you're still having these things that you can point to as things that would hurt you in the future, now you still have the ability to have those tough conversations. And again, tough conversations with people that you care about are completely different than tough conversations you have with people I don't care about you, right? Because those individuals then go their separate ways. But when those tough conversations are had by people that care about one another, what happens is there's a compromise that is had that you then draw closer together in order to have a game just like they had on Sunday. So I hope that is a sign of things to come.
It's funny to me because it was AJ who said the passing comment last week, and then Brandon Graham let a whole lot more out. And then they kind of say the media, and Jalen and AJ had their dance to shut everybody up. Did you ever kind of use the media or say it's us against them and everything, kind of get that extra fuel?
No, that is a way that some people have done it, right? Strategically and not so strategically for others. Me, no, it was always behind closed doors. And oftentimes it was me and that individual having a conversation. And then whatever we talked about will always be between me and an individual because I will always respect the locker room.
When you watch this Eagles team and you see the addition of Saquon Barkley and what he has done, I kind of go back to your team when you guys got T.O. about how it just completely changed and lifted everybody. Would you see that parallel adding him?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the thing that we now have the Saquon that everybody knew was in Saquon. Even Saquon knew that this version of Saquon was in Saquon, but he wasn't able to allow this part of him to be. Why? Because of some of the, I'm not going to get into all the details of the Giants. It doesn't matter. But was because of some of the happenings that were happening with the Giants. Saquon wasn't the Saquon that you see free to just be and just let his athleticism and all of he can do just come to fruition. And you're seeing that every game. And so that bleeds into the offensive line. They can't, I mean, you don't think they get hype about blocking for a dude that can take this thing 60 yards, 7 yards for a touchdown on any snap? Like, they love that fact, right? So that bleeds. And then defensively, you're seeing the offensive line is seeing the running game pounding people. So we're like, man, we got to get them back the ball. We got to go 3 and out to get them back the ball so they can punch them in the mouth a little bit more. So like it is something that goes both ways. And so once you have that, to me, a franchise player, because he is that. I know the running back markets are down and off. Bump that. Like, he's a franchise player. When you get a franchise player on a team that you have other franchise players on offense, it could be potentially something dangerous. And it seems, again, they're trending in that direction.
And I've seen you, I believe, several times on social media thanking the Giants for the gift of Saquon Barkley.
Really, I mean, and listen, it's I know it seems like a dig, but like I'm literally thankful. Like, thank you for your misappropriation of your love. I'll say it. I won't say funds, but your love, and allowing this dude to come to Philadelphia, to a place that reciprocates the love back to him to an even stronger degree. I'm not just talking about from the front office with the money either. I'm talking about the fan base.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions about your It Takes Two campaign in a second, but I have a couple more football questions. And I go back to your era, your 2004 Super Bowl team, and I'm looking at the offensive tackles that you had, of course, now in the Eagles Hall of Fame with John Runyon and Trey Thomas. Is it pretty incredible, basically since you came in the NFL with the Eagles, the run of offensive linemen that the Eagles have had and basing their entire team and the foundation of their team around it? Because you see this line over the last 10 years, arguably the best in the NFL consistently.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go out on the limb and give Andy Reid a lot of credit in that, the importance, him being offensive lineman himself, right? And he was always premium on bringing in guys, specific guys. And obviously we had the bookends, that's what they're called, right? We had Trey and Big Run, right? So the bookends. But our offensive line were always one of the heaviest offensive linemen, right? And so when you then have that mentality, and I believe that's been passed. And so now I believe the front office sees things through that lens, but you also have perhaps one of the best, if not the best, offensive line coaches in the game of football, right? Stout brings the best out of people, man. He has the gift to be able to speak to guys, to bring things out of them that they didn't know they had, and give them a confidence to step on the field and just absolutely demolish and dominate folk, right? So when you have a philosophy that this is extremely important, but then you have a key ingredient in Stout, once again, to be able to then bring the absolute best out of that line, then you have a line, you have a storied history of seeing that year in and year out, that the Eagles have had one of the best lines, if not the best line in the game of football.
And you know firsthand from your days playing for the Eagles, and then as an executive with the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl in 2017, there was a run there of just trying to bring in a veteran or good cornerbacks, and they just couldn't find the great ones. Does this remind you the drafting of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean back in your era when they went and got Sheldon Brown? Lito Shepherd was the first 2 rounds, and they got their cornerbacks of the future right away, producing. They're out there getting it done.
Well, I just being honest with you, what you saw and how, if you are on that team, and I can say it from playing the game of football, that how embarrassing some of the things that are happening on field were week in and week out towards the last half of last year. you recognize that no, you can't. It's not spot duty. You can't just bring in guys to come in and hope that they then perform. No, you got to put some money into it. And obviously, it's not money as far as right away money. It could be future money that these cats get paid, but not they're talented young people stepping into those spaces that you expect to have success, right? So, and that to me, that was a learning process from last year. That we tried this, that was an absolute failure. We're going to make sure that we prioritize the secondary. Because I would tell you, in my time, the secondary, we were holding our own. Like we were leading the team, to be honest with you, in a lot of areas. Like myself, Bobby, Troy, going back to Damian Moore back in the day. It's like, that was the stability of the defense. It's crazy to say it like that, but that's how we felt, right? And so now, to me, once again, we're getting back to that place that you need premium guys to step into that secondary and play.
And I'm sure you love the versatility of Cooper DeJean, because I know
not just him, and it's not just him. They have a couple of chess pieces, I call them. Guys that they can move around and do a whole bunch of different things that allows Vic Fangio to be as aggressive that he can. Guys can cover, the guys can tackle, but guys that can blitz, like he's introducing more guys into blitzes. So I love all of those things, but Cooper, absolutely. I believe one of the reasons he's freed up to do some of the things that he's doing on defense is because his confidence in that young cat. And so far, he is doing an outstanding job. Outstanding job.
I love to see how you light up when you talk about a great secondary. And tell us about this It Takes Two health initiative to fight kidney disease, bring awareness, kidney disease. People get tested for kidney disease.
Yeah, and this is extremely important for me and my household originally, right? You know, Berenger, and Lily allowing me to be a part of this, to push the knowledge out about getting these tests done to make sure you don't have kidney disease. My mom and my dad are individuals that are in the percentage of individuals that could potentially have that kidney disease, and both of them have high blood pressure. They battle high blood pressure from time to time, and they both have type 2 diabetes, and that'll be a forever battle. And so because of that, I wanted to make sure that they had this information so that they can get the tests done. It's a blood test and a urine test that you get done. The It Takes Two comes in because it takes you and your doctor to come together to get these things done, but it also takes two tests to make sure you don't have, you're not going down the path of potentially having chronic kidney disease. And so for me as an athlete, we just kind of talked about my career. One of the things that I've recognized is it's extremely important to be proactive, not reactive all the time. As a defensive back, I needed to be proactive. I needed to study game film and see what things that people may come against me so that I can, make sure that I show up on things that I'm struggling in to make sure that they can attack me in those areas. And so same thing on this side of the ball. Once I hear this information, and it's obviously for me first, but then I can spread it to my parents and then to my aunts and uncles to make sure that they then talk to their doctors about this same thing. Because the numbers are staggering, man. It's 35 million adults are living with kidney disease, yet 90% don't know that they have it, right? And so that should be an alarm, again, especially for those individuals who have type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. And for more information, you can go to testyourkidneys.com.
And you're also going to be in the upcoming Rose Bowl parade with the It Takes Two initiative.
Not just in the parade. I'm gonna be on one of the floats, Jack. So I'm actually going to have my rear end sitting on the It Takes Two float. Not just me, Rob Bass will be on there as well. And that's another part of this thing is exciting for me to team up with Rob Bass. Obviously, who Rob Bass is. It
takes two to make a thing go right.
You didn't say it right, but yeah, that's that dude right there. And so if you go to when you go to testyourkidneys.com, you can see the video that he rewrote some of the lyrics to fit the campaign. Matter of fact, one of the first things that I said when they approached me with this opportunity, one of the first things that I said, man, it would be awesome if they got Rob Bass to be a part of it. And we were like, yep, he's already a part of it. So yeah, fun time. but also ultimately it's for awesome cause, man. I'm telling you, to have that information, to make sure that you pass that information. If you then fit into this demographic of high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, make sure you talk to your team up with your doctor to get these tests done. But also, if it's not you, and you know somebody, your friend, your whatever relative, make sure that they know this information. Once again, we're trying to cut this kidney disease off before it gets going.
Well, that is a great message, especially knowing that it is personal to you. And maybe you're going to be in this parade coming up, and maybe you could be in another one in Philly.
I like that. I like you did.
It takes two.
It takes two, dog. I like it. I like it.
It takes two to make a thing go right.
Yeah, you did it. You did it all again.
B-Dog, it is great catching up with you. And I love how excited you are about the Eagles defense. Hopefully the Eagles can make it 2 Super Bowls. And we appreciate your time and a great message. It takes 2. Great initiative. So go get tested for kidney disease. And when B-Dog talks, people listen. So I think this is going to hit home with people.
No, thank you. Yes, thank you, bro. This is an important message. And thank you for having me on, man.
You got it, Brian. Thanks a lot for your time.
God bless. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Oh, mom, so flagrant.